Ramakatha Rasavahini, Prema Sudhamritavahini, Sathya Sanatani Dharma Swarupini, Shanti Pradayini Mokshakarini, Ramakatha Rasavahini, Ramakatha Rasavahini.
Sai Ram, everyone. Just to recollect where we are in the study of Sri Ramakatha Rasavahini, we are in chapter 5. The four brothers, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, have completed their studies with sage Vasishta, and after they returned to the city, they were provided training in various forms of use of weapons. Thereafter, they were also involved in some form of training in the administration of the country. They were taking part in discussions related to the administration of a country, ruling of a country. And we were at a stage where King Dasharatha is telling his minister that, they should be given some training or lessons on Paravidya. And that's where we were discussing. So I will stop here and maybe we'll just read it once more, the slide which we were reading, and then we can continue our study further. Okay, Sai Ram. Miss Gopalan Uncle, can you read?
Sai Ram, everybody. When they were in the 11th or 12th year, one day Dasharatha called to his presence the minister Sumantra, who was the repository of virtue, and commissioned him to arrange for teaching the princess the spiritual science of liberation, Paravidya. He said that however proficient a person may be in secular sciences, Aparavidya, Paravidya alone can give him the strength to carry out his Dharma, rightful duties. The highest moral culture must be imparted to them at this tender age itself. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much, Uncle. So I think we just read the first half of the slide. I think there was a lot of discussion on Paravidya. Why did King Dasharatha ask that they be taught even after they had completed their studies with sage Vasishta? So I will stop here. Anyone who would like to discuss any of the points which we discussed last week, and anything else which you would like to discuss, I will open up the discussion. Anyone can share your thoughts, please. Yes, Sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, brother. So we talked about whether Swami's teachings fall under Paravidya.
Thank you, Sister. I think the answer to that question is at the moment being discussed in Sathya Sai Vahini. I think last week we were discussing, I don't want to discuss that further here because we will be discussing it again on Sunday. I hope everyone will be able to attend. where Swami is saying, he's talking about various religions and what is Sanatana Dharma. And in that he says the Shrutis, the Vedas, are the word of God, and the sages were able to perceive or discover them, and then they shared it with the world. And then he goes on to say the other religions have as their scriptures or teachings by incarnations of God, people who are endowed with divine attributes or Mahapurushas and things like that. So I think the discussion was, I think we did not complete the discussion, we just initiated it. I think someone asked if, does it mean that Swami is, whatever Swami taught also does not become the Vedas? I think that was the question. So I think the answer for that question which you asked will be discussed with the Sathya Sai Vahini sister. But just for our discussion here, anything which is not part of the Vedas is considered Smriti. They fall under that which is spoken again, which is originally present in the Vedas. So even whatever Swami has taught is only a small portion of what is in the Vedas, number one. Number two, I think Swami's writings are mainly to clarify any misunderstanding and misconception of concepts and principles which are described in the Vedas. That is the purpose of Swami, and that's why Swami in many discourses says everyone has to study the Vedas, everyone has to study the Upanishads, they should learn the Sanskrit language. Without that, they will not understand the Upanishads. So these are also Swami's teachings. So generally, the avatar comes for Vedodharana, to again bring back to its original glory the Vedas and the Vedanta texts. So I will stop there. I hope that answers your question. Sai Ram, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, I was just going to add that every time we hear Swami's discourse or any of the Vahinis and so on, it's all like predominantly we will hear Swami say Divyatma Swarupulara or Prema Swarupulara. And so that way, every, like Kamavadani Garu said, Swami Mate Mantramu. What Swami says is verily Veda or verily a mantra. I think it is ultimately when I go to the ocean with a bowl, I carry the water how much ever I can from the ocean. The ocean by itself is there to give. The ocean by itself is Paravidya. So if the effort is made to see the para, obviously Swami is always indicating to the para only, always when it is spoken. But how far can I dig to find water is left to me. I can stop at apara stage, or I can drill down and find the para in the apara, if apparently the apara which is showing up. But every time Swami speaks, it is inherently to realize our innate nature. Swami would always say this, Shrunvantu Vishwe Amritasya Putraha. So it was always reinforcing that we are the children of immortality and always pointing to the para. And the deeper we go, the lofty is the ideals or the principles that can be garnered from it. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to comment? Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
No, I think you and Satish have covered it beautifully. Just one thing thought I would add is, I think the moment the Vidya is put in words, it already has become, because words cannot communicate, cannot convey the highest truth. it can all point towards it. So I think that is why the Vedas were always transmitted through sound, but in a more holistic manner in the Gurukula system. The words by themselves will not communicate the meaning, but all I think in a holistic way. I think that's one other angle also. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you. Anyone else has something to say? And Sister Vani, just to extend what others have said, and we should also understand the Vedas also as the text of Swami only. They are no different. So the thing is, the question may be asked, do we have to study everything? Not necessarily so. But I think it's continuous study and reflection is as sadhana, I think will help us understand the concepts a little better. So we should not think the Vahinis which Swami wrote are the only texts which we have to study. They're also a part of the entire scriptural texts which are available to us. Number one. Number two, here also, we are actually studying what Swami taught only second hand. The Swami wrote it in Telugu, and as we can see in some of our studies, the original Telugu has much more to offer than the translation. So I think I thought I will just point that out also. So anyway, this is also a good step in the right direction, is what I would say, Sai Ram. Yes, brother, Uncle Gopalan, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, in the last Sanskrit class in Bhagavad Gita, you mentioned about Krishna telling Arjuna he has to go beyond the three gunas. We just heard that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Uncle. Just for anyone who did not attend that, it's the words from Bhagavad Gita. It's incidentally after we discussed here, the following day it was there. We studied that. So Krishna is saying, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna. So what he is saying is the Vedas comprise of both Traigunya Vishaya as well as Nistraigunya Vishaya. And I think that's the way we should take. So the three gunas, all the aspects of three gunas which are prevalent in the Vedas, one has to transcend them, and one should not ignore or neglect the study of that portion of the Veda which is beyond the gunas also. I think that's, thank you very much, Uncle. Yes, Sister Jyoti. I think it's Sister Jyoti, JK, who has raised her hand. I think you have to unmute and speak, sister.
I think it came by mistake. Sorry about it.
Okay. Oh, the raising of the hand.
Yeah, the raising of hand was by mistake. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. If no other discussion, maybe we can read the second piece, I guess, second section. Uncle Gopalan, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, success or failure in later life was built upon the impressions and experiences gained in the early stage of life. The early years are the foundations for the mansion of later years. Therefore, he said, take the princes around the kingdom and let them learn not only the condition of the people, but also the holiness of sacred places. Describe to them the sanctity of holy places, the history of temples, and of the saints and sages who have consecrated them, and let them drink deep the springs of divinities that are hallowing those spots. I feel it will be good if they do so. As they grow, they will be prone to sensual desires and urges. Here they fall a prey to such tendencies. It is best to implant in them reverence and awe and devotion to the divine. That is immanent in the universe. That is the only means to save their humanness from demeaning itself into animality, and for the rulers of the kingdoms. There's more I cannot see.
Okay, sorry, uncle. 1 second. Can you see? Oh, sorry. Can you
It is essential. Yes, I can see now.
Yes.
It is essential. Consult the Guru and the preceptors and arrange the tour without delay. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much. Manianti is, I think, is unable to join. She will be a little late. So, Sitaram, will you be able to read the Telugu? Yes,
Sir, where exactly it is on the paragraph?
Bhavishyattulo, something like that. It starts.
Shattulo.
భవిష్యత్తు యొక్క మంచి చెడ్డలు బాల బాల్యావస్థ అందు సంస్కరింపబడిన.
You can go ahead and I'll just find out by the time.
So I will try to read Telugu. You can translate them. Okay. I will try. భవిష్యత్తు యొక్క మంచి చెడ్డలు
The good and bad of the future
బాల్యావస్థయందు సంస్కరింపబడిన అనుభూతులపై ఆధారపడి ఉండును.
the childhood, when the mistakes.
Okay, I will just read one little bit.
Yes, sir.
బాల్యావస్థయందు
In the childhood,
సంస్కరింపబడిన అనుభూతులపై ఆధారపడి ఉండును.
it depends on the experiences that have been cultured during the childhood.
ఈ అవస్థయే
This stage only
భవిష్యత్తును భవనమునకు పునాది.
This stage only is like the foundation for the seed of future.
కాన
Therefore,
పిల్లలకు రాజ్య సంచారముతో పాటు
for the children, along with the governance of the kingdom,
క్షేత్రయాత్రలు చేయించి
they should be experienced with the pilgrimages,
తీర్థ రాజముల యొక్క పవిత్రతలను క్షేత్రముల యొక్క విశిష్టతలను వివరించి
they should be told and elaborated about the importance of such pilgrimages and their importance, spiritual significance,
క్షేత్రముల యొక్క విశిష్టతలను
the importance of such kshetras or pilgrimages,
వాటిని దర్శింపజేయుట
they should be sent for the darshan of such great places,
మంచిదని తోచుచున్నది.
I believe that is a good thing to do.
పిల్లలు పెరుగు కొలది. You have found it?
No. పిల్లలు
పెరుగు కొలది విషయాసక్తులగురు.
As the children grow, their interest towards external things, vishayas, increase.
దీనికి పూర్వమే
Before this,
రక్తులగా దైవానురక్తులుగా చేయుట.
Prior to this, they need to be made lovers of God.
మానవత్వమునకు తగిన కర్తవ్యము.
It is the prime duty of being human.
ఇది ప్రభువులకు అతి ప్రధానము.
This is even more important for kings.
కనుక గురువుల వారితో సంప్రదించి,
Therefore, consult the gurus.
యాత్రకు తగిన ప్రయత్నములు గావింపుమని
Make necessary arrangements for the pilgrimages.
ప్రయత్నములు గావింపుమని ఆజ్ఞాపించెను.
Thus commanded.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Sorry, Anna, for that noise.
No problem. Sai Ram. So King Dasharatha is telling, what needs to be done to provide them the exposure of Paravidya, that they should be taken around to various sacred spots and auspicious places, and they should be taught about the importance or the significance and the greatness of such places. And they also should be having the opportunity to have the darshan, or, of these places. And Dasharatha says that this will be helpful for the children before they become older and get attracted by the world. So God's the Devanurakti, that's attachment to God, should be built when they're children. This is what Dasharatha tells. And he asks him to consult the gurus and make arrangement for the pilgrimages. So I'll stop here. If anyone would like to discuss any of the points, or I will open it up for all of you to share your thoughts, comments. Yes, Brother Rohit, please go ahead. Rohit?
Sai Ram uncle.
Yes.
So actually, if there's nothing from anybody else, I'd like to discuss this first sentence of the second paragraph. Success or failure in later life was built upon the impressions. Actually, Swami has. I'd like to share a discourse by Swami, given in 1976. I believe it was in Whitefield. I'll just quote Swami here. I have it in front of me. Swami said, "Your life is sacred, and your age is a sacred age. The period between 16 and 32 is a golden age. This is an age where you have the strength to overcome the obstacles that come in your way, to control your actions and thoughts. At this age, if you feel angry, jealous, or excited, you must use your strength to control your anger, jealousy, or excitement. If at this age you do not have the strength to control your emotions, how and where will you get the strength to control your emotions when you grow old?" Completion of quote. So just thought, I think maybe we can discuss this if there is nothing to discuss as to how can we impart this on the next generation. How can we help the next generation follow this, and the younger children follow this? I just thought maybe we could discuss that. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Rohit. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, in the first paragraph, is it Padi Padakondu or Padakondu Pannendu?
I think Padi Padakontu is what is in the
Then it
third.
should be 10th and 11th year.
Yes, yes.
That is one. And secondly, I just wanted to share that by the time all the four brothers were 10 and 11, they had already mastered the Vedas, they had mastered the weaponry, and the king is now asking that they be taken to pilgrimages. Usually we'll have a brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa. Like around the vanaprastha stage, people slowly start going into pilgrimages and things of that kind. So in this case, you can see how in those days, I think in the case of Prahalada, after Hiranyakashipu's demise, he had to rule the kingdom possibly when he was 5 or 6 years old. And in this case, we see how when they are 10 or 11 itself, such lofty ideals and principles those days were being inculcated at such a young age, and how people embraced a balance, knowing that actually the para vidya is the basis for apara vidya, and giving the the giving the roots for that, or giving the priority for that, we can see in this. I just wanted to share in that, because generally I think in one of the discourses also Swami was saying how sometimes parents in Kali Yuga feel that if by listening too much of spiritual things, they may become very dispassionate about life. But then, yeah, it's not something that comes easy, and it shows how much of priority was given those days at such a young age. So just wanted to add that part, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. So anyone else would like to discuss, what can be done? I think Brother Rohit had raised this. See, Swami is using Dasharatha to teach us also. Yes, Sri Rama may not have needed, but I think this is something which all of us have to learn and practice. So what can we do? I think that's the question. And Sai Satish has sort of explained a little bit. If anyone else would like to add to that. Okay, no one is speaking, so I'll see. I think one of the things which King Dasharatha, I think, wanted to do was to give the yes, Beena, please go ahead.
Sai Ramanna, the answer, the question, I'm just thinking little different, not exactly the question answer. Sorry about that.
Yes, no
But I
problem.
was just thinking that how Buddha, Gautam Buddha, he was so protected by his father, Shuddhodana, and he himself goes out and he sees the world around and all the corpse and everything, and then ultimately he realized he gets disgusted and goes to the nirvana path. That is the one thing, and so it is like he's just the science of the liberation, what it says in the first paragraph of the Paravidya, that he himself comes to that ultimate truth knowing. And I think Swami is also what we in the ashramas, Swami's Gurukul, we can say that he gives the Vidya and a Ved and everything, and tells us to just search for your ultimate know yourself and go to the ultimate truth by teaching all these things. The Dasharatha is completely here that is saying that the Rama to go out and So Rama himself is a divine, right? So I'm just comparing with the whole two different thing. If you can just share a little bit of a life of that why Dasharatha is doing this thing while we all have to ultimately go for the uh, ultimate truth. So, but the Bhagwan himself was taken birth, right? Sai Ram, that's all I had to say. It's just coming to my mind.
Thank you very much, Beena. I will open it up. So, Sister Beena has contrasted this with the life of Gautama Buddha, who was actually protected and actually was exposed to all sorts of pleasures. But when he went out, he right away took to sannyasa when he saw the suffering in the world. So how does that compare with what Dasharatha is saying here? Um, is it okay for all of us to be in the world, study what Swami is teaching, and that we also progress spiritually? Isn't that what Swami is saying? Is what I think Beena's question is. So I think we can discuss what Dasharatha said, what Rohit read about Swami's discourse, where Swami is talking something similar, and Gautama Buddha. How can we digest all these three and see whether we can reconcile all of them for our own application in our own lives? I will stop here. Anyone who would like to discuss any of the points or all the points, welcome to do so. Sai. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Paramana, on a very lighter note, in the case of Buddha, I think um, Suddhodana knew that basically when there's a sage who comes and tells him in the beginning that Siddhartha will become enlightened, or he will renounce the world. So Suddhodana had a forewarning that his son is going to renounce the world. And so he was trying to do anything and everything to keep his son engrossed in the worldly matters so that he doesn't kind of renounce the kingdom and go into the search of the ultimate. I don't know if Dasharatha had such a forewarning, because if he would have realized that Rama would go into a state where Yoga Vasishtam was needed, maybe Dasharatha would have not also sent Rama on a pilgrimage. That's on a very lighter note, because as parents, yeah, we do get possessive of our children. So that way to uh, know that they are from God and through the parents, and realizing that the true owner of the properties is the Lord. If that attitude comes in every parent, the Swami would say pay rent. Like the child is there just for the karmic balance that needs to be settled. But at the end of the day, they are coming from God. So the relationship is with God rather than things. So if that sense of um, um, yeah, we are just custodian of that property that's come from God, and we have to do the duty and return it to God with the same pristineness and love that it's been given. I think that attitude, if it comes, then I think whether it is Suddhodana or Dasharatha, it doesn't matter, because that attitude will ultimately govern what needs to be done in terms of upbringing of a child. But on that lighter note, if Dasharatha would have known that Rama goes around this whole thing and comes back and shuts himself up in a room and doesn't come out for days, I doubt whether Dasharatha would have done what he had done. But I'll stop there. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Sai Satish packed quite a bit, so maybe I will take one and explain. In the Swami's pun with the word parent. He says a parent means actually they are paying the rent to God, by looking after the children. Because they are living in this world, God is providing everything. So they have to they have to pay something to God. So he sends a few people to look after. So actually whatever parenting we do is actually we are paying the rent to God for living on this world. I think that's the humor of Swami in trying to teach us the duties which we perform are actually in gratitude for what the Lord has given us. I think it's, thank you very much. If no one is speaking, I will fill the silence. See, Swami, yes, Sister Aruna, please go.
Sai Ram, brother, I don't know whether I have missed it or something because I was driving. Sorry about that. The Paravidya, they are arranging a teacher to teach, right? Both Paravidya and Aparavidya. So, do you think the Paravidya can be taught by a guru, or they teach something with I always believe Paravidya, you have to that individual itself has to learn by themselves with their experience. But the guru, they are arranging a guru for that. What is that the expectation here? I really I want to understand that part. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, Sister, thank you. I think you had asked this question last week as well.
Yes.
So that's another question. So I don't know which question we should add. I started with the Buddha thing. Maybe we'll just discuss that. We'll come back to your question. See, Swami, in a few discourses, he has spoken about Buddha renouncing the world. Swami asks, how many sick people have you all seen? How many dead people have you seen? How many old people have you seen? How come you all are still not renouncing like Buddha? Swami has asked in jest. The reality is the vasanas come into play a big time. Buddha had come to a ripe stage when he took that birth as a Gautama Buddha that he was ready to renounce. So it is not something which happens in one lifetime, which Buddha himself has told his disciple that he was a bodhisattva over a long period of time, preparing for this final birth of attaining some nibbana, attaining realization. So I think Buddha was an exception who had already done a lot of sadhana in the previous births. I think that Swami himself has spoken about. So, but what Dasharatha is telling here is for every common person. Means I think all of us, I think maybe, or most of us, I shouldn't include everyone here. Most of us fall into that category where what Dasharatha has talked about. I think I will just address a little bit of what Sister Aruna had asked. I think last 1 week she has been thinking about it. See, Sister Vidya has any form of learning has 3-4 components of learning. Okay. Every knowledge, whether it's Aparavidya or Paravidya, has to be learned from a teacher. At least the theory. So, for example, the Upanishads teach about Paravidya. So, there is theory which all of us can learn. It's like any subject in the world, we have to read and understand. It does not just happen on its own. So, first we have to study. Then we have to contemplate on it. Then we have to see how we apply it. The difference between Paravidya and Aparavidya is Aparavidya just focuses on the world, external. Paravidya is also theory which we study from a guru, which is actually internally focused. So there is an element of learning from a guru, whether it's Paravidya or Aparavidya. And then, so there is one Sanskrit verse which says, quarter of the subject is learned from a guru. Quarter of a subject is learned by someone comprehending it and understanding it through contemplation. Quarter of the subject is learned by looking at fellow students, how they are learning also. And the final quarter is time and experience, which will give us. So whether it's Aparavidya or Paravidya, they have the same processes. Theory has to be learned from someone who has already done some bit of work or who is in a position to teach. Or they may even teach what's in the Shastras. So in this case, I think what Dasharatha is trying to say is, we discussed a little bit, Dasharatha knows that they have learned the Vedas. Theory they have learned. Maybe they have also contemplated. But now they have to see the application of it. I think so that's why we all go around on tour, we go on vacations. Everyone goes to seek pleasure. But before that, they should go and first see pilgrimage spots first and get the devotion to God cultivated. That's what Dasharatha is telling. So in his own way, according to his own understanding of Paravidya, he is giving the instructions. Whether he has mastered Paravidya is another question, but at least he knows the process which has to be adopted. I think that's the way to look at it. So every Vidya is learned from a guru, from a scripture, because in the Upanishads also, Swami often quotes that, Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata. This is a Upanishadic statement which Swami often quotes, and I think it was made very popular by Swami Vivekananda. Uttishta means get up, wake up. Jagrata, be fully aware. Prapya Varan Nibodhata. Prapya means having found, having attained. Varan means people who are great, people who are knowledgeable, people who are rishis. And Nibodhata, and learn from them. This is what the Upanishads say. So you have to go and find somebody who has traveled the path, and from them you learn. This is what the Upanishads say. So that is why a medium of somebody who has studied it is always necessary, is the belief in Sanatana Dharma, whether it's scriptures or a guru. Even for Paravidya, you need a guru. Swami, every Guru Purnima, Swami talks about this. So I will leave it at that. Then otherwise
Thank
people
you.
say we don't need even Swami. Okay. Okay, but Rohit, please go ahead.
Sorry, Mangal, I'd just like to, the pilgrimage part that you mentioned, I'd like to add that, in Tapovanam, one can read where in the chapter Dharma Stapana, where Swami travels through various kshetras in the country, in India, reigniting the Shakti in all those temples, and basically showing us that, we have to travel through these holy kshetras to redeem our life. It's not an option. I think that's why Swami put in so much effort to revive those centuries and millennium old temples, for not for Swami, for us. So I think we must remember that next time we plan our vacation system. We must at least put in, I mean, out of respect for Swami's effort, we must, I think, make our own effort to visit these places. Just thought I'll add that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Rohit. Very nice point. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Right, Ravana. Based on what you were saying, right, about how the time should be spent learning from the Guru, and study of scriptures and all of those four things that you mentioned, I was trying to walk that through what Swami would say about bookish knowledge, superficial knowledge, practical knowledge, discriminatory knowledge, and fundamental knowledge. I think each of those things of how Swami would go all the way from bookish knowledge to fundamental knowledge literally covers how, through interaction with whom, how the person assimilates it and makes it a part of themselves to again do the same thing. Yatum, drashtum, and tatvena praveshtum. So it again goes through that journey. So just wanted to add that. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Then I think Rohit, we should go back to what Rohit read from the. I think Swami, from early on, Swami started this path of training young children in devotion, which Swami started he himself was a small kid, by starting the Pandari Bhajan group, in his village. He tried to inculcate devotion among all the fellow students, fellow children in the village. So Swami started that path long, long time ago, because that time itself Swami realized it's very difficult to fix the older people. You have to start young and work on it. And later on, Swami established the Veda Patashala. And then he started the Balavikas program. Every Balavikas program, Balavikas Guru discourse, Swami talks about this only. Children should be molded into ideal citizens. You cannot mold anything once people become very older and fixed in their ways. So the molding has to happen when a child is young. And that's the reason Swami established schools, which were actually residential schools. Most all Swami's schools was residential. You had to go and live there and not exposed to the world, so that they can be molded and at least some little bit of Atma Vidya or Paravidya can be taught to them. And Swami set the example of that, and through his institutions as well as the Balavikas program. Swami laid a lot of emphasis on that. So I will stop there. And I think that's why Swami says even every member of the organization has a duty to make sure that their children go through the Balavikas program. That's also part of one of the 9-point code of conduct. That's also there. Because he said it's here also, Dasharatha says it is the kartavya of a human being to mold the children when they are young and introduce them to Paravidya. So that's a duty. That's what here also Swami Dasharatha is saying that. So I will stop there. And so I think for a common man who needs a samskara, that Swami has used the word samskara also here. Samskarimpa badina. And so our experience have to be refined or cultured or put in such a way that um, the children become aware of a higher life which needs to be cultivated in them. So I will stop here. If anyone else would like to share anything, otherwise we can proceed. Yes, Beena, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, while you were saying about the Bhagawan's name has to be cultivated from the very beginning, the life, from the childhood. On a lighter note, I couldn't stop myself to share this. It's kind of a funny in the sense, like in India, when I was a child, we saw some dead body carrying going to the Smashan Yatra. Everybody is saying that Ram Bolo Bhai Ram, Ram Bolo Bhai Ram, constantly up to going to the, so the dead body is like, course, is passing, they're carrying. People are going in like a procession. And so I said to my dad, that's why saying Ram Bolo Bhai Ram, Ram Bolo Bhai Ram. My dad said that entire life he didn't say Ram now. So now people are saying that Ram Bolo Bhai Ram, so he can listen, he can go right destination. So I said that. But doesn't it the Shiva comes to the last minute and then he has to go to the Shiva? So my dad just made a very good comment. He says Shiva is doing samadhi, so he has to wake up. So we have to say Ram now. So it just came to my mind that That is why she said last name should be the Ram Nam. You're not saying the other people are saying for you. Sorry about that, but I had to
No,
share
no, no.
this
It's
one.
a
Sorry.
very valid point, Beena. Very valid point. So what Sister
I know.
Beena is saying is, when people are dead and they're carrying the coffin and the dead body, they're they're saying, oh, say Ram, they're asking somebody to repeat Ram. But the person is already dead. They won't be able to repeat the name of Ram. So I think advice to chant the name of the Ram should be there when the person is alive, not the person is after dead. So I think so. Whether people are telling themselves and others that they should say Ram, or they are telling the dead body that it should tell Ram. I think that's the question. I will leave it. Yes, Santi, you want to say something?
Yeah. Ram Nam Sathya hai. Ram Nam Sathya hai. They go on uttering that while the dead body is taken to the Smashana ground. They say this Ram Nam Satya hai, Satya Ram Nam Satya hai.
Very true.
The truth. Yes, Beena? Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Yes, Sai Satish.
I'm just going to say, on a lighter note, it's restricted only to that. So you chant around that Ram Nam Satya or Ram Bola Bhai Ram, and then people take it as a thing for only that ceremony. So it's very interesting how it is perceived also. Yeah, I'll stop.
As Sai Satish, the problem will be some people will say if you say Ram Nam, the person will die. That's the worst fear for people, but
That is another, yeah.
Okay, I think someone else raised their hand and they took it down.
Sai Ram, it's me.
Yeah, Sai Ram Shankarana. So go ahead.
Yeah, actually, the chanting of Ram Nam Satya, even though the body is gone, still the Atma is still prevailing. I think they are kindling the Atma to at least remember the words Ram Nam Satya at the time before going to the cremation ground. That's why they are still chanting that around it.
And Sai Ram, it is also Tarakanam, so maybe he will cross the, the ocean proper way. The Ram Nam is a Tarakanam, so never know.
The boat.
Yeah, the boat.
Sorry, Anna, I was just going to say that actually moving away from the humor part, I was just actually the name Rama itself is so calming. It is Tarakam even for the people who are going through that difficult part of loss of their near and dear one. Because chanting, it's not only the Taraka Mantram for the Jivatma who is now moved on, but even for people surrounding that loss, that just reminding constantly what is permanent and what is transient. I think it helps everybody go through that difficult situation. So just wanted to add that. Sai Ram.
Thank you. See, I think, Sai Ram Sanjay, go ahead.
Finish your thought and then I will.
No. I just wanted to say, I think human being from birth to death, they have to go through 16 important samskaras, which are actually refinement of a person. An Antyeshti samskara, which is just as a person died. And the final rites are also considered a samskara for that person. So that is the final purification or refinement of a person is the Antyeshti samskara. So that I thought I will just tell that. Generally, people think it is not an auspicious time. Actually, it is the most auspicious time. That's a final samskara which everyone has to perform. Fear should not be part of it. Actually, ideally, celebration and prayer should be the way to celebrate it. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
I just wanted to share something which is more applicable to our own context, our own lives in the context of, Sai Center and Balavika's program and so on. There was a question answer session one time where the question asked to Swami was, Swami, is it okay to have children from non-devotee families in the Balvikas? Is it okay to admit them into the Balvikas program? And then Swami gave an answer which is extremely profound in the sense, Swami said, why not? You can take anyone, but through the child, the family has to be transformed, Swami said. And oftentimes in my, somehow that second part is there's a lot of focus on the first part in trying to impart all the stories and all of Swami's teachings to the children. But the second part, in context of what we are reading right now, I felt it's almost like a second opportunity for a family. What is our responsibility when I put a child into the Bal Vikas program or take them somewhere to the Tirtha Kshetra or whatever, all those things. It has to transform. It's an opportunity for the family to again be connected to that, to spirituality. If at all one might have through their adult years, through their young adult years, might have kind of veered off a little bit. This is an opportunity again to come back, because just taking a child to a Balvikas class or to any similar program for an hour or a few hours a week is not going to change the child. I mean, just like what you mentioned about Buddha, he had over multiple lifetimes had refined. At this point, he saw this. And that immediately is like striking the brick for the 21st time and it breaks. Just because of that doesn't mean you take a child to something, it's going to change. No. The rest of the 6 days and 23 hours, what is the environment that is being provided at home? All of that. That's one point. Second point I wanted to comment was, oftentimes there is this expectation that, oh, we did this and all that, but yet the child is not interested in this or that. That's another thing that comes up, and oftentimes it's a reason for despair or reason for sadness. But the way I see it is, as Satish also mentioned, the child has to go through its own life. But getting exposed to this hopefully sows the seed of something for another life, maybe even if it's not in this life. It is basically replacing or sanctifying that amount of time in their life with something noble and virtuous that could hopefully that may, even if it does not bear fruit in this life, in the future, all while or otherwise it's an opportunity to pay rent in a good way. Just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. Anyone else has something to say? I'll just comment on, what Sanjay said. See, when, as Manianti said, they say Rama Nama Sathya hai. So Sathya, generally we think, oh, it's the truth. But as Swami would say, what is Satyam is Trikala Bhatyam. So once we plant the name of Rama in anyone, that will never be destroyed. That will remain with that person, whether they know it or not, whether they like it or not. And I think that's what Sanjay is saying, Swami, because we really don't know in which lifetime it will sprout. It's ultimately the name is a seed which if we can plant. So even a dead body, we were joking about it. What they say, what is believed is, hearing is the last sense to depart from a dead person. So by chanting the name of Rama, even at that time, that person, that seed will be sown in that person's life. This is the belief, that's why they chant, because even if the other senses have given up, the hearing sense is still available for the departed Atma. And they will definitely benefit, is the belief. And that's why in Kashi, they say Lord Shiva himself will come and chant Ramanama in the person who is dead. So that is what the belief is. So I think the name of Rama or name, any divine name, once we plant in somebody, we should not doubt that one day it will sprout, because we have put something permanent in that person's chittam or whatever, a vasana. And I think that's all we can do. We should not never be impatient to see the results soon. Even in when many people come and study in Swami's institutions, and some of them may seem to be not as interested in spirituality also. So we wondered, often, but Swami is never disappointed. He will say, I have planted the seed, his kartavyam is done. Okay, Ron, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, just a couple of small points just about the meaning of the word Sathya. That's right, that the only that which is true is that which is eternal, right? And so that's just one point. The other point is just about the Bal Vikas and things of that nature, just the importance of inculcating good values and not just that, but spiritual education from an early age. I'm reminded of saying that Swami had about a sapling, a small tree. If it gets bent over, then it will grow bent over for the rest of its life. It will not self-correct. So that's why it's very important to not only protect children, but give them the right spiritual nourishment from an early age. That's all, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thanks. Uncle Gopalan.
Sai Ram. Swami gave a discourse to a crowd who had no idea about all the learning. And the question was asked to Swami, oh, Swami, you gave the discourse. These people cannot understand your discourse. And Swami said, I'm not giving for this lifetime. These people will, someday they will understand what I said. That's what he mentioned in one of the discourses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Thank you. Yes, Sai Satish.
Paramana. So I think in the worldly ways, we are used to like instant results, instant coffee, everything, Maggie, 2 minutes, everything in 1 minute or 2 minutes, right? So that is the ways of the world. That's where we see even in Shirdi Sai Satcharitra, this businessman goes and tells Shirdi Baba, I'm waiting for Brahma Jnana. Give it to me. My horse cart is waiting outside. I have to go give the Brahma Jnana, right? So means everything is, you want it instantaneous. But if we were to see the ways of nature, not even getting into spiritual aspects, you sow a seed, it turns to a sapling, it becomes a tree. It takes so much time for it. But in the process, what comes out of that is again so beneficial and eternal in nature. And that is why it is long lasting. So that's where even yeah, like what you had mentioned earlier also, Swalpamapi dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So even little bit, if something is done, the good part in the spiritual aspect, even if little is done, that even that 0.001% is done, it does not go waste. It adds to ultimately that getting paid off. So even putting that little bit effort, it may not be instantaneous, but it will give long lasting benefit. So just going with that will be ideal. So just wanted to add to that, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Aishat. Yes, Ron, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, just one other point about this very brief story told about Swami giving a discourse to people who doesn't look like they would be able to absorb what he's teaching and what his response is. Just Bean and I were talking about it for a moment, and she was just mentioning it. We were both saying this is the demonstration of Swami's great compassion, his karuna, which is of course the rasa of the Ramakatha Rasavahini as well. That this great compassion, not just thinking about for the current life, but helping people for future lives. That's all, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thank you. So we had a nice discussion on Paravidya, the importance of it, and the permanent nature of it. What is invested will never go waste. Good thoughts, Dasharatha's words actually brought some good discussion, and we can all contemplate and we can study. I'm reminded of my brother. My brother used to work at the administrative block in Parthi. There was an older gentleman. He was in his 70s. He had retired and come. He was also volunteering at the institute. So every day, apparently, after lunch, he will not talk to anyone. He will go and take some spiritual text and read. So one day, they said, he can sit down and relax a little bit. So they apparently just, they joked with him and said, you are at this age, why are you studying all this? He said, no, no, I am studying it for my next life. So, this will come with me. And he was very, very, very serious about it. So Atma Vidya is never wasted. So I think Swami, that's why Vanaprastha people study. I think this was Sai Sati started, all this is restudied, Upanishads are studied by people who are in the Vanaprastha stage. They may not become sannyasis, but at least it will come with them in the next life. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, I was just thinking about this Ramanama Satya because I never heard of this because maybe it's in India. But I was thinking about that. So for the departed souls, all the maybe as you said, the listening capacity only the last thing they may have it. So we are saying, forget about the world now, merge with the truth. The Rama's name only the refuge for you at this time. Kind of, we are saying maybe is that the meaning of that? Satya hai, that is the only truth. So forget about the attachment, leave the world, kind of. It's the way. Oh,
Yes,
it's good to know. I didn't know this one. Thank you.
it's not only Ramana, Ramana, many. Yes, Auntie, please go ahead.
Uh, Sister Aruna, it is in North India.
Yes.
It is very famous because the
okay.
body used to be taken in the four people used to carry the body. Nowadays we have the car comes and then the body. But in those days, to the cremation ground, body has to be carried by four people, and it is such a punya karma, such a meritorious deed to carry a body to the cremation ground. So they used to utter this saying Ram Nam Satya hai, Ram Nam Satya, because the person who is departed might or might not have said throughout his life about Lord's name. And it is believed that the last thought which comes before the death of a person, that is going to decide your future. That's the belief in all of us, isn't that? So
Yeah.
even you might have uttered the name of Rama, or you might not have. But that Ram Nam Satya hai, it should go into his ears before he is cremated. That's the idea with which they used to say.
Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Thank you.
So, sister, even in different traditions in the Bharat, or Bharate means includes even countries like Sri Lanka, it's different prayers are chanted. In our Tamil tradition, they'll be singing Thevaram, Tiruvasakam, and things like that, which is Namah Shivaya, or any form of prayer, any form of name of God is equally powerful, potent. But in the north, Ramanama is very, very prevalent. But even other traditions, depending on the faith and system which we follow, tradition we follow, thinking of God at the time and also singing, praising the Lord in loud, so that everyone can hear, not only the person who departed, even the others. It's a natural tradition. So it's the same. It believes in the same thing. I hope that answers. So it's 10:10. Yes, if any, Sister Aruna, you had something to say?
No, thank you, brother.
Okay,
Thank you, Auntie.
we can read at least a little bit if everyone is okay. If I don't think we will have time to discuss, but we can just read if there's nothing else to discuss. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, elated at the prospect of the princess getting this great opportunity, Sumantra had all preparations made to his satisfaction. He got ready himself to accompany them. The queens came to know of the pilgrimage and the princes were undertaking. They were delighted that the princes were going on such a holy venture, and they made many things ready to render it as happy and useful as possible. They arranged a few nurses for them and some comrades of their own age to accompany them. The princes too were beside themselves with joy at the prospect of visiting the sacred places of the land. They enthused their companions and sought from the king equipment and clothes for them also. Should I stop here? Or
You can read the rest also.
the next day, when the auspicious hour specially selected for the journey arrived, the princes bowed before their parents, touching their feet with their foreheads. They fell at the feet of the preceptor. The mothers placed holy dots on their foreheads and cheeks to ward off the evil eye and to guard them against evil. They discarded royal robes and put on the habiliment of the pilgrims, that is to say, silk dhotis round the waist and silk shawls wrapped around the shoulders, and taking leave of all, they ascended the chariot. The palace resounded with shouts of victory, rising from thousands of citizens who had gathered to see them off. The chariot moved on with guards before and behind. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Auntie, shall we read?
Yeah, 3 minutes. Shall I read?
Yes, we'll read.
Okay. అంత సుమంతుడు కూడాను సంతసించి తగిన ఏర్పాట్లు గావించి పిల్లలతో తాను కూడాను వెళ్ళుటకు సర్వసిద్ధమాయను.
So Sumantra was very, very happy and he made appropriate arrangements and he was also getting ready to accompany the children.
అంతఃపురములో ఈ యాత్ర వార్త తెలిసెను.
In the inner quarters, this news the news reached them also.
రాణులు తమ కుమారులు పవిత్ర యాత్ర సాగించబోచున్నారు అను ఆనందముతో ప్రయాణమునకు తగిన ఆహార విహార సదుపాయములు అన్నలు సిద్ధము చేయించిది.
The queens were also excited or very happy about it that the children are going to take up this sacred pilgrimage, and with joy they made appropriate arrangements of food and other accompaniments. They were getting them ready.
వారల వెంట దాదులను కొంతమంది పుర బాలురను పంప సిద్ధము చేసిరి.
They also made arrangements to send a few maids as well as children of their age.
రామ లక్ష్మణ భరత శత్రుఘ్నులు పవిత్ర యాత్ర సలుపుచున్నామని పట్టలేని ఆనందమును ప్రదర్శించుచు,
even the brothers Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna, they were overjoyed beyond any bounds that they are going to go on this sacred pilgrimage.
తమ తోటి బాలురను కూడాను ప్రోత్సహించి,
they were also making the fellow youngsters also enthused about it.
వారలకు తగిన ప్రయాణ సౌకర్యములను తండ్రితో చెప్పి సిద్ధము చేయించిరి.
They also made sure that the accompanying kids also got appropriate arrangements for their journey.
రెండవ దినము సుముహూర్తము సమీపంగానే తల్లులకు తండ్రికి నమస్కరించి,
The second day, when the auspicious time arrived, they bowed down to the parents.
గురువుల వారికి నమస్కరించి,
They also bowed down to the guru.
తల్లులతో హారతులు అందుకొని,
They accepted the arati by the mothers.
దృష్టి చుక్కలను రక్ష చుక్కలను పెట్టించుకొని,
They got them adorned with spot dots, which will take away all evil eye.
అండ్ రాజవేషములు విప్పి,
They removed their kingly attire.
సామాన్య యాత్రికుల వేషములు అనగా పట్టు దోవతులను కట్టి,
so they dressed up like ordinary pilgrims. They wore silk dhotis.
అంగవస్త్రములు కప్పి,
Even the upper garments also of the same kind.
రథములలో కూర్చొని జయ జయధ్వనులతో రథములను కదిలించిరి.
They sat on the chariot, and with the shouts of Jai Jai, victory, victory, they moved on the chariot.
That's all, I think.
Yes. One more sentence, Auntie.
Okay.
ముందు వెనుక
దినములు వారములు,
no, Auntie.
ముందు వెనక రక్షక భటులు రథములు వాయువేగముతో పరుగెత్తుచుండెను.
So in front and the back, there were
guards
who were running like wind.
Yeah,
okay,
in their chariots.
In the chariot, ratamulu, batula ratamulu. Okay.
Batula ratamulu vayu. Batamulu ratamulu means that way also they must be traveling in.
They are also traveling in chariot, which were traveling at high speed. Thank you very much. Sai Ram, Auntie. I think it is time up for
time now. Next week we can discuss.
So we will continue our study next week. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
We'll close with the Samastaloka prayer. Sai Ram. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.